Ah, yes, the home library. Everyone's dream. Kind of. At least, maybe every reader's dream? The thing is, we as a society have been over consuming a lot lately. From clothes to books, trophies, the special edition fiasco, especially that of Onyx Storm style. It's getting a little out of hand.
And we seem to be making a lot of jokes and memes at our own expense and others' financial responsibilities and woes with things like this. And I just think it's time to pause, reevaluate, slow down. And that is why I will not be buying any new books. Not indefinitely as it sounds, I do have an end date. So the idea is to not buy any new books until my birthday at the end of September. So what do I mean? I went to the thrift store Friday and bought 5 books because it's 5 books for $1 at this local thrift shop, and that's fine. I spent $1 and I got 5 new books. I did actually get 6, but let's not go there. The other idea is I pay tax dollars every time I get a paycheck, and then tax season rolls around, and it is going towards community libraries, and I do have a library card. So the idea is, instead of me running out to get this new book that I want to try, or from an author I don't know or trust or have read yet, instead to wait for my hold to come in on the Libby Library. So I'm using things like Hoopla and Libby, which you don't know anything about those. I suggest you do your research. I've got them scrolling here for you. But basically, Hoopla, you can get audiobooks, books, and TV shows and movies, and Libby is really just more books, all from your local library's catalog. You can request things, you can hold them and wait till it's your turn, because the library is paying for those digital asset rights to use. Now, there are a few exceptions to this. I do have some of my favorite books in series on pre-order to make sure I still get them throughout the coming summer and early fall. So I will still be receiving Samantha Shannon's Dark Mirror from the Broken Minding, The Book That Held Her Heart from Mark Lawrence, The Ragpicker King from Cassandra Clare, and the other one by Daniel Jensen, the Viking one. So I still have those on pre-order, as well as Lindsay Rowan's, is that her name? Lindsay Rodden's book is on pre-order, and I did get Thea Claire's new book as well. And the only other exception is, I know Philip Quintrell is hoping to publish the 3rd book of A Time of Dragons sometime this summer. That is the only book I'm making the exception for, because you cannot pre-order it right now. Broken Binding will announce their pre-order, and I will read it. But I will be, so far, using things on Kindle Unlimited, Libby, and Hoopla for reading until my birthday. And not only that, I do own several books that I have yet to read, just for whatever reason. The grass is always greener on the other side, things like that. So, of the books that I own that I plan to read, if you saw my January TBR video or 2025 TBR, that's basically what I still want to get through before my birthday. So, The Way of Kings by Brandon Sanderson's that series, She Who Rides the Storm, The Blood Guard, George R.R. Martin's Game of Thrones series, the Legacy trilogy by Matthew Ward. Oh, that is the other exception. If Matthew Ward does announce the final book to the Soulfire saga, that will be the only other exception. I better not do that, because the idea is me telling you that I'm not buying any books until September holds me more accountable, or no new books till September, using resources that are free or that I'm already paying for, instead of just going out and buying another shelf trophy. And for completing this momentous task on my birthday at the end of September or shortly thereafter, I do plan on rewarding myself with a trip to the Half Price Books flagship here in Dallas. So that will be a fun little day trip. Their place is huge and I can't wait to go, but I could never quite justify driving into Dallas traffic because I hate Dallas traffic, but my birthday seems like a good enough reason. So I will not be getting any book of the month books. I will not be purchasing new self trophies, except for the ones that are already pre-ordered, like I said. But on top of this, just not only to save money, as like all the memes that I showed at the beginning of this, it's also to prove to myself that you don't need a library. And I was kind of inspired by Kari from Carly Can Reads. She doesn't really have a lot of books in her home. She mostly reads on her Kindle, library reads, and ARCs. And so that's kind of where I was admiring her. And she buys a cup of coffee every once in a while, but mostly she is a booktuber without spending a ton of money. But not only that, when I was a kid, I grew up in a house with a library. My mom has probably owned 1,000 books since I was, I don't know, when did they convert since I was like 5 maybe? There's always been books in a house, in every family member's house that I can think of. And that whole Inkheart ink spell at the beginning of the book where the girl's describing their house and how there's books everywhere, stacked everywhere, that was kind of like my dream home as a kid. But that's not always feasible, and in today's over-consumer world, I have 5 copies of the Bone Season. Like, how is that sane? Now I can justify each one. The one here in this shot is a first edition of the original, and then Samantha Shannon had to go and do the author's preferred text, and so I was gifted one for my birthday, and then I managed to get a signed one at one of her talks, and then I got the broken binding one. So each one holds a special place in my heart. So there's that. Do you need 5 copies of any book? No. No, you don't, and if you count the ebook, then I guess I have 6. And that's the problem. It's a problem. Now, it's a problem. I was going to say, for my indie authors, I'm supporting their career, and I'm sure Brady Hunsaker and Elise Kova and Daniel Jensen and Thea and Lindsay and all of them are so thankful that I buy the ebook and the physical copy, and then every once in a while the audiobook. Oh, and Emma Ham. Oh, I own so many Emma Hams. But I can also support them by talking about them and promoting them here. So, no new books until September. Wish me luck.